going on, fam? So listen, you clicked on the thumbnail because you want to know about international dating and death. Does that mean that if you date internationally, you're going to die? Maybe. It is a strong possibility. Depends on where you're dating. But listen, seriously, so welcome to, I'm Neo, if you don't know, my channel. Welcome to the channel, guys. But no, seriously, so we're going to talk about my experiences in dating. Here in Colombia and other parts of the world, the mindset, the frame, the experiences, all of it. But right now in this episode, we're going to kind of shape and frame your mind and how I got here. How did I get to dating internationally, and why am I talking about death? All of those things. And then there's going to be a subsequent video series of Neo Unfiltered, specifically around dating. The next video after this is how I dated a Colombian webcam model. We're going to talk about what that process was like, what the experience was like. Maybe we're still dating. Maybe we crashed and burned. You'll have to stay tuned. But in either case, we're going to continue through that. I'm even going to do a video where I've already started prepping it, actually going out on dates on Tinder, showing you the responses, showing you that process, all of it. Dating in 2023 is absolutely different. Dating internationally in 2023 is like nothing I've ever experienced before. But lock in, stay tuned. This episode, we're going to help you understand my mindset around all of it. The past experiences, why we're here now. I'm also recording some other things right now. But jump into the video, comment down below if you like this kind of content, if you want to hear more about how it is to date internationally, if you want to hear more about some of the crazy experiences I've had. I mean, dating married women in polyamorous relationships, dating webcam models, prepagos, you know, all of those kind of things. Lock in, enjoy the video, and comment down below what you want to see. Thanks so much, guys. Let's jump into it. Peace. What's going on? All right, so listen, I was working and then I wasn't because I realized I'm out of coffee and your boy can't get work done without coffee. So I'm gonna make a quick run to Pergamino. Okay, I was like, do I have my frequency card? I gotta have my Pergamino frequency card. I'm gonna grab coffee. So listen, there's some changes to the channel. You guys are gonna notice it over the next few videos, kind of a shift. The very next video, this video actually, you are going to listen to Neo Unfiltered. It is the first episode of Neo Unfiltered. I want you guys to comment down below as you listen to the video and watch the video, a couple things, two questions. One, should I roll in random B-roll during these Neo Unfiltereds? Because I'm talking a lot, sharing thoughts, personal experiences, etc. But sometimes you don't want to just look at me talk. So maybe it's a better idea if I have some random footage of some of the different places I've been, etc. So let me know. Yes to B-roll. People with tiny dogs that are loud annoy me. That's just the truth. But yes to B-roll or no to B-roll. And then my second question is, should I put Neo Unfiltered episodes on a separate channel? Should it be just a completely different vibe because you'd rather see and experience the different places that I'm in? Or are we good with it being on this channel and just separate playlists? So comment down below, B-roll, yay or nay, and separate channel, yay or nay. Let's get coffee. Peace. Hey, all right, so we got to Pergamino, which you can see right there for the coffee. So I'm gonna get coffee, I'm gonna head right back to the apartment and get more work done. But the point of this video and the point of my questions in the comments down below is because I wanna make shifts that you guys wanna see. And I don't want to put any videos on this channel that you don't necessarily want to see. I'm also considering, I used to do a ton of nutrition videos regarding keto, carnivore, those kind of things. If that's something that you guys would like to see on a separate channel, comment that down below. The Neo Unfiltered is going to be the deep, dark dive into my mind, the different challenges that I'm going through, my mental perspective on life in general that's a little bit different, and how it all fits into traveling the world, having it shape, readjust my perspectives, etc. Some things positive, some things negative, everything true and real. So in either case, check this video out. I appreciate you guys watching. And look, we're doing a webcam model video. We're doing a how to use Tinder in Colombia video. There are going to be a lot of different series covered in Neo Unfiltered, where I just talk real, honest, and transparently about everything. So enjoy the video. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Separate channel, B-roll, no B-roll. Peace. What is going on? All right, so listen. I have been talking to everyone, mainly my friends, and I share with them the details that I don't share on this channel. You know, we have we have a lot of different crazy conversations, and you know, the common theme in these crazy conversations is they're like, bro, man, people want to hear that. They want to understand what's really going on. Like, you're telling me you dated a girl, you were like really into this girl, and she was a lesbian for 10 years. She's only been dating men for the last couple years. That wasn't a red flag. How did you feel about that? Dude, that's a lot to talk about. Wait a second. You were in a polyamorous relationship with a married couple, and the married couple was fighting, and she wanted to spend more time with you when she was fighting, but you're friends with the husband. So like, tell me how did that work? I'm sorry. How many girls were you dating at the same time? And they all knew each other? And they were okay with that? Wait, really? I can't tell. Yo, I have so many stories. So many stories. And, you know, for me, it's been one of those things where I'm like, shit. If I shared the shit that I went through, did, do, I don't want people to start looking at me and judging me like I'm crazy. I'm living my life. I'm 40 years old. I am single. I have 0 children. I am dating someone right now. I'm only dating one person right now. She's very happy. I am absolutely sure she'd be very happy to know I'm only dating one person right now. She's the only person I'm dating. All of that said, though, yo, the international date scene, like the U.S., the date scene is crazy. And yo, my friends that are dating in the U.S., I pray for y'all, because yo, it's hard out here in these streets. And some of the things that I have heard and been shown, not only from like new people are dating, but from like exes, I'm like, what the fuck? And I mean that, because some stuff is just insane. I have a friend of mine. She's a close friend of mine. I'm never going to say names on this stuff. I'm never going to say names. And if I say names, I promise you they're fake names, because I'm never going to throw anybody out like that. Me being able to share myself openly is one thing. That's my choice. That's my decision. That's what I'm choosing to do. But I'm never going to throw anybody else that I'm dating or have dated, am friends with, or anything like that under the bus. So this is going to be an unfiltered, me just really talking. But I respect everyone I've ever spent time with. I may not like everyone I've spent time with. Let me just make that clear. But I respect them. All of that said, bruh, I have a friend that has a baby daddy. That's not a giveaway. But the baby daddy's got to be bipolar, bruh. Because she'll send me messages, or I'll see messages that this dude has sent. And some of the stuff he says, I'm just like, bro, that's a killable offense. Like, why would you say something like that to a woman? Period. Like, I mean, and I'm not even going to go through, I am going to go through it because this is the Unfiltered channel. I'm talking things like, you're a whore, you should just die. Just crazy, outlandish things to someone that has carried your child. For me, it just doesn't make any sense to me. That to me is insane. If you have not watched my 12 months of traveling, you will hear about the girlfriend that I was madly in love with, who I was going to ask to marry me right before I found out she was cheating. And I don't mean like I kissed somebody. It was just, it happened. Nah, bro. I'm talking, tried to reconnect with the ex on deep levels. Like, having dinner with the family. I love you. I want to be back with you. Let's have kids. Wow, I'm paying for your life to live. You're traveling the world with me. And you're telling this dude that you're visiting family in a country that you've never been to while you're there with me. Just crazy, 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 crazy outlandish shit. So I kind of want to talk about it. I kind of want to talk about the relationship aspect of things now, the relationship aspect, the dating before, where things are today, really what's actually important, what's not important, my aspect on women, dating, marriage. I've been divorced twice. So I say that and people are like, you've been divorced twice? Fuck, what's wrong with you? Well, my last marriage would still be continuing if it weren't for my infidelity. I'm putting it out there. It's real. I'm being honest. I cheated on one of the most beautiful people you'll ever meet. She is a beautiful person inside and out. But, yo, I'm dark, bro. I can't stress that enough. The experiences and things that I've had in my life. Shout out, there are some names I use. Shout out to my boy Ed Burwell. I literally was just scrolling Facebook a second ago, and I don't know what happened. I don't know anything around the story. I don't know anything about it. But he lost his daughter. She couldn't be older than, I don't know, 20 some odd years old. And I've lost a lot of people in my life. I've lost a lot of people close to me in my life. I have witnessed and experienced a lot of death in front of my face in my life, of people I've known and people I haven't known. And I don't know, man, like, honestly, like, I looked at his post and I was like, damn, fuck do you say about shit like that? You know, everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sending prayers. And I'm just like, none of that shit actually does anything. Like, I don't know what to say. How do you say something like that? Shout out to Ed, bro. I don't know what to say, man. Like, for all the pain I've ever experienced in my life, man, this is me talking to you direct. If you actually ever see this video, I don't know. But, like, I have no words to be able to provide any kind of comfort in the cold craziness that is this world that we live in. And I'm truly, deeply sorry that you've had to experience this pain. Like, shit, it's just, death is some shit you just can't get rid of. I don't care if it's someone you know or you haven't. If you've ever experienced, witnessed. I remember one of my first like adult experiences with death. I know we're talking relationships. I'm gonna get there, but this is Neo Unfiltered, so we're just gonna let this ride. I had to go get stuff out of a vehicle where the entire family died, and it was crazy because I could feel it. I could feel the energy. You could smell it, feel it, see it, like hair, and it's crazy. So for anyone that's had to experience any kind of death, witness it or not, yo, I'm sorry, because it's not something you shake. Okay, moving right along. Relationships. So we're gonna start with the ex. Start with the ex. If you know the ex, you know the ex. I'm not giving out names, but if you know me, then you know the ex. If you don't know the ex, maybe, I don't think I said the name in the other video either. See, I'm so respectful when I don't need to be. But, so, the ex. I cheated on my wife with the ex. I was in a very dark period of time. Some of you know, some of you don't. I had planned on taking my life in 2019. Literally right after my niece's first birthday. I mean, planned. And I wasn't going to do something like cut my wrist or, you know, leave the car in the garage running. I'm a gun guy. So that was the plan. And I mean, there's no coming back from that, okay? It's not like I was going to shoot myself in the leg and see if I bled out. Like, I laugh about that now, but like, you know, the reality is my life was saved because my friend took his, and he took his after trying to reach out to me all weekend to talk. And I couldn't talk because I was trying to spend time with my niece. And the Monday that I was going to take my life, he took his. And I'll never forget that. I'm here today because of it. That's just real. With that said, though, it was also one of those things where I was like, fuck, I got to make some changes. Because I'm miserable in my marriage. And I never felt like my wife was a miserable woman. I just felt like she wasn't the woman for me. And this is a disclaimer, shout out. If you're married right now and going through something in your marriage, get help. And I don't mean get help by finding somebody else to fuck with, because it doesn't help. The worst it could do is have you spend 3 years with that person just for them to cheat on you anyway, in which case it was really a fucked up waste of time. But, yeah, like, get help, because the reality is the hardest thing to do is to face your feelings and actually address them. And I don't care what your feelings are, what they're about, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, it's the hardest thing in the world to take the feelings that you have and actually feel. I've spent so much of my life overriding feelings because I didn't have time to feel. And I didn't have time to feel because I chose not to have it. So, yeah. And let's be real. The reason I have 2 divorces is because I never took time to feel. You know, my getting over a relationship is usually getting into another one. Playful. I was just stories. But look, before we get into stories, I gotta go to sleep. I told you it was 1 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I didn't. I think I said that in the other video. I recorded the closing of my last video right before the beginning of this one. You guys are probably wondering, what is that noise? It's me tapping this metal piece. You guys know what that is. You know what it is. Because I'm going to prep for bed. And I am a strong believer that one of the best ways to sleep, for me anyway, is to smoke a little bit of my favorite green plant. So I'm going to do that. Again, this is Neo Unfiltered. So if there's a problem for you, I'm sorry. I also want you to understand something else. I'm 40 years old. My very, very first experience with this was at 38. It's a whole other story for another time. That's a whole video in itself. But, I talked about death and some of the other things. And I say this as a disclaimer because I need people to understand. I'm not encouraging people to smoke. I'm not telling people that they need to go out and smoke. What I'm saying is that I wish I would have known how to responsibly use this at different times in my life where it really would have helped me deal with my emotions and processing life and the pain that comes with living. That's just real. I'm not trying to numb myself when I smoke, but you guys hear, if you watch my videos, my mind is constantly all over the place. And for the periods of time that I'm talking through thoughts, I have an entire behind the scenes running of every experience I've ever had in my life, good and bad. And when I say that, people are like, yeah, whatever, this sounds like excuses for why you smoke. But I literally had to go to therapy. One of my first experiences with therapy. I'm in therapy now. I love therapy. I think it's the best thing. Everyone should do it. But one of my first experiences with therapy was trying to learn how to not get migraines from having numbers locked in my head. Because I would see numbers, this is when I was a pharmaceutical sales rep, I'd see numbers for prescriptions, like their codes for samples that you give, and you'd have to put the batch number and the serial number of the sample, how many samples you gave, and then the doctor would sign it. And for me, cool. You could ask me on Friday, hey, at Dr. Jacobo's office on Tuesday, you gave him 4 boxes of X, Y, and Z. What were the serial numbers, lot numbers, batch numbers, and how many did you give? And I could tell you from my mind exactly. Bruh, it was insane. And I had to understand why I was hanging on to it, why I wasn't letting them go, and what to do about it. I wish I would have had weed then. I could have just smoked at the end of the day. That probably would have helped me a ton. I probably wouldn't have felt the same way about therapy, but here we are. So I say all that to say, if it offends you, I'm sorry. But the one thing I refuse to do this year is not just be myself. It doesn't mean I'm going to smoke for the rest of my life, but for right now I do. So, let's get into the rest of it. So my marriage was, from anyone looking at my marriage, outside perspective in, it was perfect. I mean, I feel like context is important. When I say my marriage from the outside perspective looking in was perfect, the local church that my wife and I at the time attended to everyone that saw our marriage thought it was such an amazing story that it was a platform that should be shared with the entire church. I'm not going to say what the church is, but let me just tell you, this church has hundreds of thousands of members. You figure that out. We had an entire film crew that came to our house. I'll never forget this. They came to our house. It probably took 2 hours to set up. Stuff kind of like this. Lights, smoke, but not this kind of smoke. That gives like depth of field and just all these different things. They're running cameras with the first ever like full body gimbals that I've seen set up. It was insane. It was an awesome experience. But when I reflect and I think back on that, I'm just like, man, we had everybody fooled, because our marriage was never that. And I don't want anyone to get this wrong. My marriage was okay. It wasn't great. We're friends now. I speak to her on a regular basis. She just shared a story with me over the weekend. She went on a date with this guy. I'm not going to share too much of that because most of you that follow me will know who she is. And some of you follow me and watch my videos probably are connected to her. But, it's funny because my conversation with her, and she told me about this whole dating experience, and I was like, I feel some things. And it wasn't jealousy. Like, relax. I'm not like a jealous ex-husband. The girl that I'm dating, that's a whole nother story. But it wasn't that. It was more just like all these red flags of dating. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, it's harder for females to date than men. Let me say that one more time for those that missed it. Let me rewind it. It's harder for women to date than men. The reason it's harder for women to date than men is because all men have the capacity to bullshit. Every single man has the capacity to bullshit. There's not one man I have ever met in my entire life that does not have the capacity to bullshit. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is, when men are attracted to women, they do dumb shit. They say dumb shit. I'm just being honest. I've trained dogs for the last 20 years. 23 years. 23 years. So in 2000, I started to learn how to train dogs. The reason I started to learn how to train dogs was because I was dating this girl, Eva. It's 20 years ago. So if you knew me and you're watching this from 20 years ago, it's okay. You know who Eva is. But I was dating this girl, and she wanted a puppy. Now, full disclosure, I was full-blown scared of dogs up until about 14 years old. And at 14, I realized I'm bigger than you are, so we got a problem. We'll deal with it. And I say that courageously, but the reality is at 15, I'm sure I ran from a dog at some point in time. True story. But men do stupid shit for women. So I'm in college. I live off campus at the time. And she wants, I hate when it goes out. She wants a dog. So I was like, okay, let's get a dog. What kind of dog should we get? We should get a boxer. Okay, cool. Do you go to the store and pick one out? Like, how does it work? I'm scared of dogs my whole life. I have no interest, never lived with, had a desire to, anything with dogs. So she finds a breeder local to the area. It's like a 15, 20-minute drive from, where we live. We're not living together, but where we live. And because I'm a stupid guy, I'm like, okay, you want this dog? Cool. We go to the breeder. The breeder's got 2 left, boy and a girl. Oh, we can't separate them. They're brother and sister. Can we get both? Sure, we can get both. What in the fuck was I thinking? And of course, I can't be scared of these puppies. I mean, they're puppies. I'm talking 9 weeks old puppies. Terrified. But listen, you want puppies? I'm your boy. I got you. We're getting 2. We get the 2 puppies. This long story short is we broke up because that's what happens in relationships in college. And I came home one day. I had an alley kitchen. Technically, it's a galley kitchen, but it's an alley kitchen. Because when I say galley, people are like, huh? Alley kitchen. So there's one way in, one way out. Which is great. The kitchen I have here is one way in, one way out. And crates are evil. They're evil, evil, evil things. At least this is what I was told from this Polish woman who told me that crates were evil. I was like, okay. So I had a linoleum floor in the kitchen, and I'd have this big piece of plywood I bought from Home Depot, cut to size, so that I could block them in the kitchen. So when I'm in class and everything else, no big deal if they pee, because it's on linoleum. I have a mop right there. I take them out, mop the floor. We're good to go. Well, obviously they get bigger. They weren't big enough to jump over the plywood yet, but they were dumb enough to eat through my kitchen wall. So I came into my apartment, I looked into this one way in, one way out kitchen and saw there was another way because they ate a hole all the way into my neighbor's apartment. I'm not going to go through the whole story, but as I was looking for puppy training at a local pet store, I was stopped by a sheriff's deputy in the store who happened to be buying dog food for his dog. They had a discount for the sheriff's department at this place. And needless to say, he looked at me with these puppies that I was ready to kill and was like, bro, what's going on? And I told him the story. He laughed at me and then invited me out to train with the police department, the sheriff's department there, to kind of learn what I should do with them. It was super early in the morning. I ended up going, and the rest is almost history. But aside from all of that, that's stupid shit, man. Like, don't ever buy a puppy, or 2 puppies for that matter, when you're scared of dogs to impress a woman. That just doesn't make any sense. It's dumb shit. So I say all that to say, women have it harder because I feel like, at least in the States, especially in the States, most people are making decisions based on the dreams that they have. But like, you can't make a decision on a dream that you have hoping to fit that person into the dream. That's not how it works. But that's how most try to happen. And you're sitting here thinking to yourself, no, that's not true. It absolutely is. You go on a first date with someone. If you're a guy, you're like, yo, she's hot. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'd hit that. We don't even know anything about the girl yet. We don't even have to know you. It's like the first 2 seconds of looking at you. The first thought we have is, yes, you're attractive. Yes, I would have sex with you. I'm not. Listen, comment down below. If I'm lying, comment and say I'm lying. But it's just a reality. Now, I'm not saying that every man says that out loud, but don't sit here and tell me that you're not looking. Don't tell me that you don't see an attractive woman and you're not like, ooh, I'd hit that. Just don't. You'll be lying. And if you write lying in the comments, you just mean that you're lying, because that's the truth. Now, the difference between men that want to be in committed relationships is that has no determining factor on what happens next. None. They still think it. They'll still look at a beautiful woman and say, man, listen, a man will look at a prostitute walking the street and say, yeah, I'd hit that. Or no, or ooh, she probably has some. But if you're I'm telling you, they're attracted, they're thinking and sizing up in their head, I would absolutely have sex with that person. Now, I don't know why that's men's programming. That's not me. That's not my area of expertise. But it's the reality. So now, saying that and understanding that and then saying, okay, well, what does that mean? It means that you sit down and the first thing you're thinking about with the chick that's sitting across the table from you, and I know this because, the woman that I cheated on my wife with, our first interaction was lunch. And I remember sitting across the table from her thinking, my God, you're beautiful. Like, wow, I totally would hit that. Everything else that happens after that, it's not going to go the way you think. So I think we had lunch for like 3 hours. First off, listening to me talk to 3 hours is insane. We're on 20, 30 minutes of this. 3 hours, could you imagine? And I mean completely engaged for 3 hours. And you're thinking, this is what I've always wanted. Someone to listen to me speak for 3 hours. Fuck no, I don't even want to talk for 3 hours. So one thing leads to another, and I start envisioning this girl I don't mean all on the first date, but as we continue to kind of see each other, I started envisioning this girl in different areas of my life and how it would be, how I may have thought it would be. You know, the first trip we ever took out of town, we had both said, you know, like, let's see how it is to like spend the night together, because we've never done that, you know. She was dating someone. She thought I was dating someone, but I was actually married. Little fact. And, you know, you start picturing this person like doing regular, normal things. And look, I could tell you this having processed breakup. You think about those things. Those are the things that you miss. Not the reality of the relationship. You miss the dreams that you made in your mind of what could or would be in the relationship if everything was as you dreamt it. At least for me as a Gemini, that's how it works for me. So like, it's crazy because it puts me all in a relationship way too fast. I'm saying this out loud because that's real. It puts me way in to a relationship way too fast. And for all the wrong reasons, because remember, the whole reason this started was because I looked at you and I was like, damn, I'd hit that. And so now all aspects of the other dreams and fantasies and things that I create and integrate this woman into, it all started with this physical thing that may be great, but the reality is may not be. I digress. So as I'm going through these things, we're going out, we're doing more, we're having more fun. And that's the other thing, is we're having so much fun. You know how easy it is to have fun when you don't have responsibilities with the person? It's super easy. You got no stress. You don't have to think about stress. Because this person's not stressed about the stress you have, because it doesn't impact them. The stress that they have doesn't impact you. You don't have to talk about it, think about it. You live in this fantasy. Here's the other thing. I just want to throw this out there because this is important. If you have a relationship that started with either of you cheating, the relationship itself started as a lie. Now, lie is such an evil, strong word that people use and are like, oh my goodness, you said lie. But the reality is a lie is a fantasy. And so if you create a relationship out of a fantasy, it can never really be a reality because it started as a fantasy to begin with. Let me just say that one more time because I feel like some of you heard me and you're like, wait, what? If you start a relationship off a lie, I don't give a shit if it was cheating. I don't care if you told her you were 6'4" and you're really only 5'11", like whatever it was, your relationship base and foundation is off of bullshit. And so as things progress, the only thing that can happen with a lie is that it gains depth. And whether it's depth because there's now more lies to it, or it's depth because now the person really believes what it is that you've told them, and when they find out the truth, they feel completely catfished, doesn't change the fact that it's a lie and a fantasy. And I say that to say that because if you're dating someone right now and you weren't honest about something, or you're dating someone right now and it started with you cheating or something, there's no success in this relationship for you. It's an impossibility. So don't think about it in terms of it evolving into this amazingness, because any of the amazingness you may be experiencing or thinking is based on the fantasies and lies that you're telling yourself and continue to say because of how it started. That's all. I'm just going to leave that there. So that said, our relationship couldn't really go anywhere but to hell because of how it started. So I say that, I understand that, I get it, but it doesn't change the fact that I was in a fantasy in my mind, in my heart, my body, my soul, and everything for 3 years with this woman. So where does that lead next? What leads next is we fast forward. I give this girl everything. And I cannot stress this enough. I gave her things I didn't have to give her. I didn't possess the things to give her, but she wanted them, so I'd find a way to get it. And I'd make it happen, because that's who I am. I always do. Money to me has never been a thing that controlled me. I've always felt like money comes, money goes, so just make more. I'll tell you, there's this one time we were in our penthouse watching MTV Cribs. It was T and Tamara, one of the sisters from Sister, I think was the show. One of the twins, and they're going through the tour and stuff. And we look at each other and we're like, her kitchen is nicer than that. She's a multimillionaire. She's a famous multimillionaire on MTV Cribs. And our kitchen is absolutely nicer than hers. And it hit me. I was like, we could do an episode of MTV Cribs, but you don't actually want to work. Because when I ask you if you want to work, you just tell me you want to go down to the pool. And that for me makes no sense because you're living in a house that requires work. There was nothing she ever asked for that she wanted that I wouldn't come through on. That's just who I am. That said, though, it was all based on a fantasy, right? Like, it's a fantasy. Anytime you're living in that kind of lifestyle and you think your response to needing to work is to hang out at the pool, it's a fantasy. So we had all these fantasies, and we can go through all these different moments and times. And I added to her fantasies because I would like her birthday. Last minute, I'm going to book a trip to Vegas in a suite. We're going to spend your week in Vegas because it's your birthday. You didn't know about it, but let's do it. First and only experience ever in Vegas. I got you. What a dumb experience that was. We basically stayed drunk the whole time. More on that in another episode, but it was fun. It was fun because that's what her and I did. Have fun. We had this fantasy that we built up in our mind, and we lived in that space. And the longer we lived in that space, she continued to embrace that fantasy, and I continued to realize, dude, what are you doing? Because, like, this girl is not meeting you where you're at. She's not reciprocating what you're putting out there. And the only thing you're doing is digging yourself a hole that you don't need to be in, emotionally, spirit, and a whole bunch of things. So we went out one night to a club. I love to dance. Love to dance. We went out to a club, and for those of you that know my background, you know how this was for me. She is getting into it with security to get into this VIP section, and the guys are like, oh yeah, let her in. I'm like, first off, she's drunk. Second, she's with me. And third, you letting her in is a problem for me, so you probably shouldn't do that. She's not caring that it's a problem for me, and she's going into this VIP area, and now I'm offended, and I have an issue with that. And you're not about to stop me from going wherever I want to go, anywhere I am. And so I started getting into security, and then I realized to myself, I was like, listen, what are you doing right now? Because the next actions and steps that I'm about to take is going to get me into a situation that I'm not going to want to deal with, no matter how it turns out. So I left her in the VIP section. I left. And she came out there shortly after, and, you know, she's wasted. She calls her sister and leaves her some drunken message. And I'm reflecting through all of this, and I called my friend Karen. Shout out to Karen. I hope you're watching this. But the next morning, I called Karen. I didn't call her that night. I called her the next morning, and Karen is like, Neil, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're about to take this girl out of the country. Like, is that what you want? And, you know, we were talking, and I was just like, I don't know. And I remember I was walking and smoking when I had this conversation. And I thought to myself, I can't do this right now. I was like, she's got to get her shit together. And I need to go live my life. And if she wants to get her shit together and come live her life with me, cool. But there's got to be some kind of separation in this. So I told her then, and this was like end of September, second week of September, third week of September, give or take. So I am telling her, I'm like, listen, I'm booking my flight to go to Colombia, and I think it's best if we go our separate ways right now. I'll go to Colombia, do the things that you need to do, figure out what you actually want in life, and I'm here for it when you do. And I said this in one of my other episodes, but things happened and changed. She wound up having to take me to the airport the next day because my first flight I had to adjust because of my dog, Logan. It was just different things. And I remember weeping like a 2-year-old when I left because I was like, this is the end of our relationship. She didn't think it was the end of our relationship, but I know me. I know me. And I said I was going to be unfiltered. I left her and within 24 hours had sex with somebody else that wasn't her. Like, I arrived in Colombia the 19th, And before the 20th occurred, I had spent time with someone else. That's my disclaimer. Now, the difference is I hadn't told this woman that I was trying to like get married to her, have kids, start a life with her, blah, 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 blah. And she was actually a really cool girl. Kind of crazy, but really cool. What do I mean by that? I mean, she had an awesome marijuana connect. Super cool. But kind of crazy because we hit it off over weed. Because that's how this all started, was like, hey, connecting with some weed. We talked, we smoked, other things happened. And I mean, she's hot, okay? Like, oof. But she's all like, listen, we should go here. I'm not even joking. Homegirl booked a hotel room in another part of the country. I had just arrived in the country, okay? She booked a hotel room in another part of the country because she wanted to go there with me. She's like, it's going to be amazing. And she sends me the reservation with my name on it. And I'm like, bitch, are you crazy? I'm not even joking. I literally I was like, oh no, I can't do this. I was like, oh no, no. Do you guys know that from social media? I could not. I couldn't understand that. I was like, you're insane. And that was cut off. But it kicked off a series of me dating because I would get to the point where I was like, I'm calling you, I'm trying to spend time with you, I'm trying to video chat with you, and I get crickets. And your response to that is, oh, well, you know, I'm trying to spend time with family. And I'm like, yo, I'm here, living life, what's good? I've never said that to anyone before. I've never actually thrown that out there. I feel like it makes me look bad. But the reality is, like, you know, for me, relationships end way before they end. And what I mean by that is, I'm signed out of a relationship way before I ever get to the courageous point of ending or terminating a relationship. For me, I am the person that sticks around far too long. Most of the time it's because I've invested so much of myself in this person, and I've created this fantasy in my mind that they're on this page in this fantasy with me, and that they're just gonna magically snap out of whatever craziness that is this period of time that's making me disconnect. But the reality is, most of my relationships, including my last with my ex-wife, started out as a fantasy. And there's no foundation or basis for strength with that. So I say all that to say, I had some fun. Now, I've talked long enough. My question to you is, if I start talking about numbers and who and when and what was done and what happened and my experiences and clubbing, and is that something I should put in this channel? Or comment down below Neo Unfiltered. If you comment down below Neo Unfiltered, it's a whole new channel, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but mainly relationships, women, and the interactions of the two sexes. Maybe some of the same sexes. We'll talk. Chill out. That's not my flavor. Just saying, we can have that conversation. And I'm really open. I want to have these kind of conversations. I just don't know if it's appropriate to have in this channel or if it should be a separate channel, Neo Unfiltered. So comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed the video and you don't think I should talk any more about this, that's cool. Comment down below, say no more. If you say down below, say no more, I'm going to not do any more videos like this, and I will not start the other channel. So Neo Unfiltered, go with it. Do the other channel. Don't have another channel. Don't talk anymore about this craziness. Say no more. And if you think I should just keep it here, just write keep it real. So we've got 3 options, people, and I'd like to see each one of the 4,000 to 7,000 people that watch my videos comment. I know it's not going to happen, but I strongly urge you. I'm requesting this. Keep it real. I stay on this channel. We get a playlist. I talk like this about these things right here. Say no more. Yo, bruh, this is craziness that no one wants to hear, talk about, listen to, or understand. Cool. I'll dead it. We won't talk about this again. Or Neo Unfiltered. I start a new channel, and that doesn't mean I'm going to stop this channel. It just means that on the other channel, it is absolutely unequivocally never going to be for kids. And I'm going to talk about my experiences in every aspect in dating. So, Neo Unfiltered. That's new channel. Talk about this kind of stuff. say no more. Don't talk about it ever again in life. Or keep it real and add the videos right here on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. You are the best part of the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, please, so you don't miss the next new video that comes out. And I appreciate you. I really do. Have a great night. Stay safe. And listen, if you're having relationship trouble or you just need to talk to somebody, please do that. Because I'll tell you, and I'm going to tell you, and I've said this before, cheating happens. But no matter what issues you have in your current relationship, if you start a new relationship with someone else, even if you start it completely open and honest, there are going to be the same things that you're going to have to unpack and deal with. So ask yourself, have you fallen out of love with the person that you're with, or do you just not know them anymore? Did you ever know them? Or should you really exit? Maybe you're in a violent situation or something like that and you really need to exit that relationship. Just know that whatever you're dealing with them, you are still going to have to deal with. Whether it's with them or whether it's with the next person you're with. Love, peace, and hair grease. How long has it been since you've heard that? Peace out, guys.